Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
And that is, we should be looking at my charts now. Is that correct? Did I do that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
you're right.
Actually, right now we have a Euro Aussie trade. Looking at Euro Aussie. Let's take a look at that one. I don't know if it's tradable, but we'll take a look at it. And Euro Aussie. Hopefully our charts won't be locking up this week. Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie has a sell right now. It's looking right. That's right into the zone. So that's not going to work out for us. It is. We'll look and see what kind of a trend it's in right now. It looks like it's in a downtrend. And we'll just scale out, and we have lots of red on the top. 1, 2 little reds in the bottom, or greens on the bottom. It is in a downtrend. We're looking at right at a support level. So we could be looking for maybe a bounce coming back up to the 200 moving average, which is that purple line. If we can get a bounce off there, then we maybe will have a shot at maybe getting something to the downside. Right now, there's no trade on that one. Euro New Zealand we had earlier. Let's see. Euro New Zealand. This is one that, again, it's right here. We have a down arrow, downtrend. And if I, again, zoom in a little bit, see how many red zones and green zones we have. Then you can see we have more green zones and more red zones and green zones. We have our 200 moving averages pointing straight down. All we're going to be doing with looking for this one is looking for pullbacks up to that area and then maybe trying to catch a down arrow back into the green zone. Wherever it comes back up to the red zone, I don't know if there's enough room even with that. Keep in mind that this is Monday morning. Mondays and Tuesdays are usually where the institutions are taking their positions for the week. They're usually trying to get it on Monday and Tuesday, drive the market up or down to their suit, and then usually by Thursday, Friday, they start taking profits. And let's see what we have here. We have this zone is going to be probably fairly tight. We only have, we got 30 pips in between these two zones. So if we can get a push up into the red zone and enough room for a down arrow, we may be able to catch a little bit of a trade here. But right now, it looks like it's going to be trading, and I'd be looking more of a deeper pullback into this 200 moving average. And then with that, maybe try and catch a trade to the downside. But there's nothing much there right now. And then we had a Euro US Swiss earlier. That was, let's see, US. There's an Aussie yen. Let's take a look at that one, see what that one does. Aussie yen, pretty much the same scenario, only in the opposite direction. We have a little bit of an uptrend. I can pretty much look and just see what this 200 moving average is doing. That gives you a pretty good idea where the trend is. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to see that unless it's starting to reverse trends, you'll see that you're going to be in an uptrend with an up 200 moving average. Again, that's that purple moving average right here. That's the 200 moving average. This is the arrow moving average. And usually when they cross and they start moving, spreading apart, that's usually a pretty good indication that the trend is going to continue for a little while. When it comes back and retests this, that's usually the bounce you can get for the retest back up to where it probably was before. So again, there's no trade here either. So any questions so far? Comments? This is, yes, Charles.
Hey, just a quick question, because you brought up the 200 moving average there. I was this weekend playing a bit with some real quick scalp trades in crypto, and I had the 200 moving average on there, obviously with the arrow, and I noticed that, like, I was going with the trend typically, so I was buying, not selling with crypto, but I started to notice that the successful trades were almost always where the arrow moving average for a buy was above the 200 moving average.
Uh-huh.
Where if I got, and these were all standard bag entries, but when I did a standard bag entry with the arrow moving average below that 200 moving average, the trades tended not to work out as well as if the arrow moving average, which we don't quite know what it is, but when that is above the 200 for a buy, it seems to have a higher success rate. Was I just sort of lucky, or do you think that there's some
No,
logic?
I think there's something to that because I mean, one thing about it, if you have them both, the arrow moving average and above the 200 on an uptrend or below it on a downtrend,
Right.
confirmation that you have two that it helps to confirm the trend direction. And then again, then you're still looking for the pullbacks. And if you get a pullback deep enough to where it generates an arrow to the upside, I can see where that would be I don't think that's just being lucky. I think that's helping to weigh the odds in your favor of the trend direction.
Good, yeah, because I've started to use that as just another kind of verification for a trade.
Are you doing that with using the arrow with the binaries, or with straight with the like Bitcoin versus the US dollar?
Yeah, I haven't begun to get into binaries yet, but that was just crypto this weekend. But for the forex this week, I'm starting to kind of just start to pay attention to that 200, not only for the market maker, but just for normal bag entries too, just to see where the two lines are.
Yeah, one thing I really like, I mean, there's another moving average I like a lot, and that's the 62 moving average, exponential 62. You'll see that bouncing a lot off of different time frames. So usually whenever I see like a 62 or in this case, the 200, when we start seeing the bouncing off, there's an alert earlier today where I actually liked the alert. There was plenty of room to the downside, but when I looked a little closer, it was contra trend, so that automatically eliminated it. See if I can find. I think it was the Euro Aussie, maybe. Let's see if that's the one. My first look at it, I said, "Oh, I think I may take this trade," and then I looked and said, "Well, I got to check out and see what the strength was." The strength was to the it was to the downside. Let me see, Euro Aussie. I'm pretty sure it was Euro Aussie. The strength was to the downside. Euro. I think this was the one. Maybe it wasn't. Euro Aussie. It was. Let's see where we're gonna come up here and see what other ones we had here this morning. It was the first one I saw when I looked down this morning. Euro Aussie. That's gold. Maybe it was Aussie New Zealand. Let's see that one. Check that one out. Oh, something Swiss. I remember it was. It was. Let me see what I was looking at. It was U.S. Swiss is what I think is the one I was looking at. U.S. Swiss. That is around here. Yeah, this is the one I was looking at here. It was the U.S. Swiss, and I was like, first time I sat down, I saw this arrow. I thought, oh, this looks really pretty good. It was had lots of them down, but then I looked and say, oh, well, it is in an uptrend. I put it on the 200 moving average. Say, oh, it is coming right into the 200 moving average. So I thought I can't take this trade because the odds of it bouncing off of this were pretty high. And this was about 3 candles ago. I mean, the price was right about up in here, I think, somewhere around there. And I thought, okay, looking to the downside, this looks pretty good. I can, let's see, it was a little slow there. I think it was probably the price was somewhere right around in here. I thought, oh, this looks pretty good. Let's see how much room we have to the downside. There's 22 pips. Oh, but I thought, well, can let me check the trend direction. Well, I found out the trend is in, as soon as I put this 200 moving average on here, I thought, well, it's in an uptrend. And sure enough, it was in an uptrend. And sure enough, it was just about coming down to the 200 moving average. With that in the way, with the slight slope up, there's no way I'm going to take that trade because you're more than likely going to get a bounce. Now, if it comes back up and I'd say it's more likely what I'm be looking at. I'm almost looking at this as being more of a Fibonacci retracement type of thing, where you want to, it came in, comes up, makes a level, pulls back below our 200, our arrow moving average, comes up, bounces, almost good chance it's going to tag that, or it may not. You got, this is a little wick. There was a little rejection right here. But if I take this for the Fibonacci retracement strategy, and let's see if I can get this here. Let's try this. There we go. So here's where it left. Here's where it left the zone. Come back up. It's already starting to slow down on me here this morning. And comes back up here right now. This is the 50% retracement. Here's a 62% retracement. Here's the 79. If it gets to 79 and it bounces, and we get a nice little pattern down here for the reversal, we may get an arrow, or just even getting, now right now this thing's starting to cross. You can see this thing's now pointing down, this one's pointing up. So right now you're going to get some consolidation in here. So I would be real aware of waiting for I may look for like a little bit of a wedge right in here coming in to break out to the upside, and then have the push with momentum, have a cross, maybe have this thing come down, flatten out, and then get a close above it. But you're gonna but as soon as it comes back up, you're gonna get a little bit of heat right in this area right here. So, but you would have lots of room to the upside if you can get the momentum to change. But right now the momentum is down. This is on the US Swiss. So right now, if I look at our heat map, and you're going to see that with the US Swiss, the US is weak, fairly weak. Now this is starting to gain a little. When I sat down here at 7:30, 15 minutes ago, the US was weak on all three of these last three time frames. It's still weak over here, but you can see where on the 5-minute chart it's gaining some strength. So, but the Swiss is still strong. Swiss is still strong. Swiss is still strong. So we still have the strength to the Swiss. So right now I'm looking at, is it reversing, or is this just a pullback to come back down? And maybe a little bit of both. It may just be a little bit of reversal, a pullback from the down move. So we come over here, we have a down move. The Swiss is in control. The Swiss is the second currency of the pair. That means that if the Swiss is in control, that means the Swiss is going to be in control, is strength to the downside. The dollar is first currency of the pair, so that means the dollar is the weak one. So if the dollar is weak, the Swiss is strong. But now we have a little bit of a bounce, as I'm showing on the 5-minute chart. As we get the bounce, now the question is this going to be a bounce where the dollar is going to start gain its strength? And I would say that probably by 8:30, 9 o'clock, you may start seeing the dollar start gaining some strength as the U.S. markets are opening up. The Europeans are driving the price of the dollar down. The U.S. market opens up. Dollar starts taking control to drive it to the upside. I would be looking at this thing coming up and maybe taking it long somewhere after, somewhere around the 8:39, maybe 9:30 time frame. You may start seeing an opportunity to take this thing long to the upside again. And let's move this thing over to our. Let's see. Move these over to our times for our reversal time zones. And today's the 22nd, so we're going to move this over to the 22nd.
Excuse me, Al, we just got 3 alerts.
Oh, okay. We will, let me get this done and we'll go and address that. Thank you there, Eva.
No problem.
You have a nice birthday weekend?
Yeah, it was nice.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You're Aussie. Let's go to Euro Aussie. So Euro Aussie.
Want me to have a look at the Swiss yen?
Yeah, why don't you look at Swiss yen? I'll look at the Euro Aussie and we'll compare notes.
Yeah, I just looked at all three.
And it
Okay.
sounds like it was uneventful, it sounds like.
Uneventful. Go ahead and look.
But we'll go and we'll take a look.
Maybe you'll find some magic.
Now you spoiled the ending for us.
Yeah, there's no
Right.
surprise ending on this one.
You're the guy you don't want to go into the theater with because you're going to
That's funny.
I can't believe she killed him.
I know. I'm going to get popcorn.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, no, right now it's in a zone, in a downtrend, in a zone. in between, just basing away. And then you'll see a lot, you're going to see a lot of this today, probably, where it made a move over. Sunday opens up, markets drive it down. Now it's just going to be a little bit of consolidation, probably a better part. That's your Aussie. Let's go Swiss yen.
Well, he was right about Swiss yen.
I had no doubts that Charles was right.
but you go.
Let me go.
You go have fun.
But I'm gonna go and see for myself.
Yeah.
Let's see Swiss yen. Here we go. Yep, but here we are. So now the question is: are we in a downtrend or are we in an uptrend? I would still say, looking at that 200 moving average, we're in a downtrend. We're going to take a little closer peek at that and drive it down. And sure enough, there's more red than green. And it's
Yeah, that
still
could be
pretty
setting
much
up for us a little later.
pretty conclusive. So we are in the downtrend, but it's looking like it could very well be setting up for us later. So we're going to scale out. I'm going to, while I'm over here on the chart, I'm going to put some arrows in. I'm going to put my down arrow because we're in a downtrend. And I'm going to put that right here by the zone. So that way, if the zone goes away, I'll know that it's maybe starting to switch directions a little bit. And we have our 200 moving average. I'm going to find my objects for my contra trend zones. And so I'm going to put this one. This is at going to be at 2200 or 22, February 22nd. And this one's going to be February 22nd. Should be the same thing. And there we are with that. So here's what we're looking at in this with this one. We are in a downtrend. It's coming up to retest the zone. Right now, it's somewhat range bound. Here's where it left, came back up. It's coming back to retest. You have a little bit of a wedge here. You have a high. Here is a drop, base drop some more, came back to retest. So retest right up in this area. So we have this wick right here is going to be something that we're going to pay attention to. And we have this wick. So right here, this is the area where it started to start trending. So here's a high, here's a lower high, here's a lower high. I'm going to draw a trend line from here. I'm going to take it from this one to over here. And you can see where, so here's the anchor. Here's a hit, which is our first lower high. Here is coming up. It's going to retest the zone. This would be our third hit on the trend line. And then it's either going to turn around and give us an opportunity to maybe take it short. And we'll just see if it comes up and retests the 62, this 200 moving average right up in here. This is already starting to curl around. So right now you're going to get you're looking at a consolidation between these two moving averages. This one's pointing down. This one's pointing up. Here's the area where it's going to consolidate. And then once it decides which way it's going to go, it could go up. And I would expect you're going to get a little bit of a head fake from the break of the trend line to pretty much near the top of this zone, which is going to be right at this pivot. And this is where I like drawing these little traps. If you go to the view, let's see, insert, I guess we want insert shapes. A rectangle. So here would I be looking at a trap from here to the trend line. So this little orange area right in here, I'd be looking at being somewhat of a trap. It comes up, breaks up through, closes above, because everybody thinking it's going to break out of the trend line, only to trap everybody just to take it short, because we are in a downtrend. This is a retest. So this is basically a retest of this area right up here, but we're still in the downtrend. So be aware of that. Watch for the traps. And usually the trap is where you have a trend line. It breaks a trend line because everybody thinking it's going long, it's breaking the trend line, but you got this little wick right here that's sneaking around, causing you some problems. And I would put this all the way up to probably just to the candles. You can take it to the body of that candle, or you can take it. I also like, you see there's a little doji right next to it. Here's a little doji right here. I like, that's where the buyers and sellers were of equilibrium. And you probably expect this may come up there and do the same thing again, with buyers and sellers will be in equilibrium. So we'll keep an eye on that one, see how close we are to projecting what's going to happen to what the reality happens. And all I can do is project, but you have to wait and see what the reality is. And they're not always the same. See, that was the Euro Aussie. Did we talked about the Euro Aussie? I guess we already talked about that one. That didn't have anybody. Anybody have any pairs that they would like to take a look at? Let's take a look at the news, see if there's any news today. Let me pull my news chart up here.
I noticed all the indices have come down more or less, or starting to. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's a good. Yeah, well, it's bound. I mean, they can only go up for so long before they need a pullback.
Yeah.
The question is, do they pull back far enough to make us happy or not? That's the whole other issue.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no real fundamental reason why the stock market should keep on going up as the airlines are going broke and jobs are being taken away and everything else. There's no real fundamental reason why they're strengthening the economy other than the fact they're printing money, giving it to the bankers to drive the markets up.
Al, after we get the news, Claudia would like to know about the euro yen.
Euro yen, okay. Hold that thought. Let me see. I'm still trying to find my news feed here.
Thank you.
Where's my news? Where's my news? Here's Forex Factory. Here we go. Always just look at Forex Factory. I know there's another news feed that's out there that may be even better, but this is one I'm using. Really, I looked at it earlier. I don't think there's anything major going on until Tuesday or Wednesday, I think, of this week. Right now, Monday, I'm not seeing any red folder news here. If you go to Tuesday, we got lots of red folder here on the US dollar at 10 o'clock, 12:30. We have the Canadian, New Zealand. So beware tomorrow. Keep an eye on the news for tomorrow. And I think Wednesday is another one. We have some other red folders with the British pound, US dollar. So if I forget, help remind me that we need to take a look at the news tomorrow and Wednesday. And what was that? Which one was that, Christine? US yen?
That was the euro yen.
Euro yen.
Yes.
Did you say what time frame, Kristen?
No, he did not.
Euro.
Thank you, Charles.
Yen.
Yeah,
I'll
15 minute
remind him
doesn't look much on the 15 minute.
Yeah, lots of red folders on the 15, and now here was it's in an uptrend. Did it not break the arrow that we had here? It also built another one up above. So lots of you don't want to be shorting this. I'm not even sure I'd want to short this even in the retracement zone. Let's move these. Let's go move these over to the.
Claudio did mention the M15 right now.
Here's 22. And here's the 22 we want here. So move those over. This is the zone that we're able to take contra trend trades. So if it comes up here, it bounces, and we get an arrow, we could take a look at it. But that's some kind of range we have between the two zones here. So there's even something we want to mess with. That's 26 pips. You're looking at 26 pips. Our target is 20. So you'd have to get one heck of a good entry in order to make that work. And even then, you could. It's one of those. It'd be one of those. If you want to take a constant trend when the time comes, and it's not there yet. If there's an opportunity, you may want to maybe go to like a 5-minute chart, scale down a little bit, and see what kind of zones we may have in that regard. It's probably still the same zones, but you may be able to get a little bit better entry for a contra trend trade off of a bounce. But I still would be hesitant because you're probably going to get a bounce off of this 200 moving average. You can see how it was respected here. It passed, it checked it. So it did kind of, did a little lip dipsy doodle there. Here it respected it. here respected. So you can expect that this 200 moving average is going to be respected on the downside for a bounce. And you still have lots of upward pressure. So unless you see something significant, I would just stay away from that pair especially to a short side. Now, possibly you can maybe look at a breakout if it breaks out through these zones up here. But you have two levels. You have, what a good chance you'll do is going to take out this red zone and bounce off of this one. And then the question would be, do you have something? I always look to see where's my next target. If it breaks through where it is right now, here's the wick. So that the sellers took control here to drive it back down to the arrow moving average. Once it breaks this wick right here, you come over and you see, is there any other wick? So there's a little bit of a wick right here. So if I take this, my trusty little horizontal tool here, and if it can break the top, if this move up can break through where the sellers took control, come over here, sellers took it, then you have this little area right here would be a possibility for taking it up into the top where you start getting into these wicks again. So I would need it to have a break where it is now. Could have a little bit of a trap right here. It did make a little higher high. Here's a high, here's a higher high. You have a little bit of a trend, an upward trend channel. From this little peak right here, take a channel, and you see how it's respecting this channel. And you look at the low here, you have a low here, you probably have another channel at the bottom of the channel. So take a look at here is where there was a hit. Here's a hit. Then you see it's a little bit of it's converging a little bit, where if you take this anchor, actually move this over here, it'll be pretty close. Move it over to this little wick right there. Here's the first retest. You can see where this little wick right here did not close below this line. So that's a valid, here's your W right here. Now we're looking for an M formation. Well, here's the first leg of the M. Here's the bottom of the M, come back up, retest it. There's a good chance it's come up, retest, and maybe come down to retest the bottom of this channel. Anchor, here's the confirmation of the uptrend. Here's the hit. And we're looking for right now is trading between this zone. And you can maybe possibly find some area where you may be able to get something out of that, but you may not get any arrow entries during in this period of time right here. You may have to go to a lower time frame to maybe find something that may do that. But here's your playground right in here. But you have this 200 moving average that's going to be in the way of anything down here. So just beware. Just be aware. There's a lot, even though you don't have arrows, there's other means of finding trades and taking trades. But just make sure you have a real clear in your mind what works for you and what doesn't. So we're pretty much sticking with the arrow strategies because we know that they work, they've been tested. You may have your own strategy, which you may have worked out and have tested, and there's nothing wrong with taking trades based on what you yourself have learned. But so we try to keep things pretty much straight with the strategies, just to keep everybody on the same page. Let's see. Let me take a look at some of the notes here.
Hey, Al.
Yes.
It doesn't look like you all got an alert. I just take a look at EuroCAD as a sort of a counter trend.
Okay. EuroCAD, and you're probably, I'll bet you're using Envy.
I am.
Okay. I wish I could put them both on here so I could see how they compare. EuroCAD, and you had an up
Got an
arrow?
arrow. Yeah, just got an arrow.
Yeah, it's a buy. That's what.
A buy. Okay.
It's a buy, and it's not a strong downtrend, but it is a downtrend.
Let's see. Let's pull this out here a little bit. I'm amazed at how many different alerts we get sometimes between the two brokers.
Yeah, I didn't get one of the trends. I didn't get the Euro odd buy that you got at 1245 there either.
Let's see. Well, let's see, looking here. We're zoomed out. Let me zoom out one more time here. And we are in a bit of a downtrend. It also, that's confirmed by our moving average, which actually has been broken and crossed. And now, yeah, both of these moving averages are pointing in the up direction. So there could be a possibility of a contra trend trade coming up here.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah,
I wouldn't take it yet, but it's interesting.
it is interesting.
Now, a few people are mentioning it's their second arrow off
Yeah.
of Osprey.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I got an error the fifth candle into the money zone. I had an upward. Right. Well, yeah. Al, you have the same arrow that we all have on the
You
that
have
first arrow.
you have that one. Okay, now I just moved this to a 5-minute chart. When we get the second arrow, there's nothing wrong with moving it to a 5-minute chart to
Yeah.
scale in a little bit. Now you can tell right now, just like here on the 5-minute, it's in an immediate uptrend right now.
Yeah.
Now question, and the thing too is if you go on a 5-minute chart, you may want to lower your expectations about how many. If you want to take the trade, you may want to lower your expectations of how many pips. Remember, the lower the time frame, the less stop you need, but also the less target you can expect before it's going to come back and do something you don't want it to be doing.
Yeah, there's a little resistance there, huh?
Yeah, but here's the arrow moving average. It came out right down, bounced, just like a little bouncing ball here. Now it is on an uptrend right now. So what I would be looking at now, this is on a 5-minute chart. We may have to go to, if it breaks through this zone right here, I'm going to look and see Euro CAD. Let's see where the strength of the CAD is here. Go to the Canadian dollar is weak on the, here again, we're going to look and see, take a check and see what the strength is. We have the Canadian dollar is weak in the middle of the pack here, weak on the 15, weak on the 30, weak on the 1 hour. So, and Euro, this was EuroCAD we were looking at? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, EuroCAD. So we're going to be looking at where the euro is. Euro is relatively strong on the 1 hour, relatively strong. I like seeing at least a 3-point spread between, on a 30-minute chart, I'd like to see at least a 3-point spread on 30 and the 15. Certainly have that. So you would be looking at trading to the strength of the euro. So if we were to looking at that, so this is the euro. Euro is the first currency of the pair. We want to trade it to the upside. If we can get this zone right here to break through, let's take a look and see where our next target would be. So I'm going to go to a 30-minute chart, and I'm going to look and see. I like this. See where this arrow is. This is origin. Nice big candle down, wick over wick. Another strong candle down. It's coming back up to retest this zone right here. So if it can break through, which is where this zone was on the 15-minute, let me go and mark. Oh, let's see here. Let's look at a target area of, let's see where the price of this is. Here's the origin of this move right here. That's at 153.44. Let me put a target in there. Trade objects target, and we're going to go 1.5344. That'd be a reference of a target there. So if it can break through this zone where it is right now, it did break through this little wick over wick. You can see we're closed above right now. This is in an uptrend. We could possibly be looking at a nice little trade there. It's not exactly an arrow trade, but it does certainly have potential to the upside. There's 21 pips to that target zone. We did get the close above the moving average. This one's coming up. I like to see it come back down and probably, boy. The fact it broke the 200, I would like to see a little bit more of a retracement before I would be taking it. But here's a nice little wedge right here. Strong move up, pull back. Have a little bit of a Fibonacci retracement just in this little spot right here from this candle to here. You're within that 38% retracement. A lot of times you only get a 38% retracement with another break. It usually it will come back up and to retest this area, which is pretty much right where my target is. This would be a aggressive trade by taking it off of the the break of this could be a little bit of a head fake here. I do like this zone. It broke this one. Let me see, move this one out a little bit further, see where that arrow actually started. Here was the close. This was the close of that candle right here. I'll move this down to the close. Here's where I'm looking at this arrow right here. I'm looking to see where the close of the candle before that was. You can see this little green little wick right here. That's where this one closed. So that's the origin of this strong move down. It's coming back up to retest that area. If it can break through that area, then this, but see, even if it breaks through that area, you've got all these other wicks over here. So you have some downward pressure to that side. It would be I would consider this to be a 50-50 trade if you were to try and take this thing long. To get to 20 pips out of that, I don't know you're going to get that. You pretty much would have to go with a, see that's 13. I'd say this would be one of those very low time frame type of things. Try taking like on a 1 minute chart and try and get 5 pips out of it. That's about the best. This would not be an arrow type of trade. It'd just be more of a take a shot at it type of thing. But even that, you got too many zones there. It just wouldn't make a lot of sense. Even on the 1 minute, you got a lot of resistance right here. So I was saying, if you go to a lower time frame, you can, but you're looking at only 4 pips in between your zones. You wouldn't barely even get your spreads taken out of that. Right now you have a spread of 19.5 to 21. You have a 2-point spread, and so you get your 2-point spread in, 2-point spread out. You'd be lucky to break even on the trade. So many other trades to put your money to.
Yep.
Any other questions? We have a little time for some questions here. What time is it? 8 o'clock. We've only been a half hour into this thing. Let's see.
Al, can I ask you a question? Did they do something with the VPSs on the weekend?
I think they're working on the VPSs every weekend, I think. So I don't know. I know Gearbox has a new update coming out. I think Variable was working on an update coming out. Some of you who reset your charts overnight, you may have had to, they asked for that device code where they have the 8 letters and you have to put in your device code. I found out last night is that all you had to do was just update the clock to, when you click on that device code, when it comes up, it says, it gives you that code of 8 letters and they want you to put it in to submit it. All you had to do is really update the clock and the clock would update the chart without having to go through typing the letter in on each chart.
Well, how were we to know that?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Clearly.
But that's, it just happened. I just stumbled over it because I had to update the clock. And when I updated the clock before it actually gave me, as it updated it, the chart started working. I thought, that's kind of interesting. Because last week I went through and I updated everything and started everything all over again. But yeah, I don't know how one would know that. I didn't see it written anywhere. I think they're trying. I think that's one of those glitches that they're trying to fix.
Well, my variable's not working properly either. 2 of my 4 charts are fine, and 2 are not. I've had to remove them because nothing is coming up. Like, it's just weird. Judson is saying that he sees, the arrow pip counter. He sees that he's in a euro yen trade and he's up a bunch of pips, but he's actually not in a euro yen trade. Like, is anyone else having weird stuff like this?
I don't know what to say about it.
Why don't you know?
There's a question here about, I thought we had to reboot every weekend and especially on Saturday nights. I say that is what I do. I do every weekend. I do a VPS update on the VPS platform, and I also do a reboot. I do that every weekend. And we find out if you don't do that, a lot of times as you're trying to work your charts, things go real slow. We worked on one last night, and without rebooting it, it took forever just to do anything. As soon as we updated the VPS to the current, to the last updates, it worked just like it was supposed to. So I just make a point that every weekend I update the VPS, I reboot the VPS, but that should not make you have to reload your charts every week.
Yeah, no, I did the reboot and all that kind of stuff, but two of my charts are just not loading, so I've had to remove them altogether. So I don't know, and it's just very strange what's going on.
But I had to do the same thing with my variable. Basically, so you have this little, on the chart, you'll have this little window that has those 8-letter codes, and it says, click here to start the clock over, and it gives you a new code, because it gives you like 300 seconds to get the code into the submit button. And that's that little, I'll show you what I'm talking about here for those of you who are maybe having some of these issues. Actually, I got to take it off. I had to put it on a different chart here. Let me.
So I'm hearing in the reading in the chat, a couple of people are saying that if you load a template on Arrow, if you saved a template to load at a later date and it shows pips on it, those same pips are going to show up for you.
Oh, really? So it's a template thing then?
Yeah. So if you were to save your template right now, from my understanding,
which is what I
you're
often
-8 pips in the Aussie CAD. If subsequently, if you start loading that same template on your other charts or pairs, that's going to show up.
Well,
is that what I'm understanding?
Well, let me try this here. Let me move these over, because I want to save this template anyway for. So I'm going to what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new template here. So I'm going to put my objects list. So I'm going to make sure I have my zones for the retracement zones. So I'll put this at 22. And I put this one at 22 for the 22nd day of the month. And it's going to do that. So now I've got my 2 lines over here where they're supposed to, at least they should be, both of them.
The other one, I think you left out the period.
Oh,
go back into, yeah, go back into your
yep, I did.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's going to be the
02.22.
02.22. 02.22.
And get rid of the 1.
Get rid of the 1.
That's a new day in the month.
That's in my head. Okay, so so I've got this set up. I've got my moving average. I've got my arrows. I'm going to take my trend lines off because I don't want those to be propagated here. And I'm going to find I also want to get my, I'm just going to go and save this template. I have my other, oh, there's an alert. There's alert.
Eurocad.
All right, let me save this template here real quick.
Oh, that's a 1 minute. That's a 1 minute.
Oh,
thank you. So that's not.
I got to get that one back again. Okay, so I'm going to go to template.
I did get some trades though, for the record.
Did you?
Yeah, USD, yen, and odd Swiss.
On the 15-minute?
Oh,
Yep.
there it is. Al's got
Yep.
it there too at 13:14.
Yep.
Save. Which one are we looking at? Euro what?
There's the USD yen.
US yen and Australian Swiss.
Let's take a look at that. Let's go to US yen first. US yen. And we're going to load our template.
Odd Swiss is nothing.
Okay, how about US yen? That looks like it may. Let's take a look and see that. Oh, there's a green zone with the down arrows. We know there's nothing there right now. I'm going to load my template. Okay, we're going to see if that template does anything here. We have a template.
Is that okay?
That's a 0. Now, if I reload the template that I made, which did have some markers on it, I'll reload the template, open it up. There's my zone.
There it is.
And there's your -8.
And there it is.
So that's what you got to do, Judson. You got to. You got to
So how
load
do you-
another template on
How
there.
do you get rid of that then? That's the next
Well,
one.
you go to one of the charts that I guess doesn't have anything on the arrows and make that your template and then reload it onto the others.
Hmm. Okay, let's try that.
So just find another pair.
Let's try. Let's take a look at EuroCAD. I don't think I did anything with that yet today.
Oh, that's got all your, oh, that's got it on there too.
I guess the other
Is it
option
the
would be to
Euro?
guess the
Oh,
other
sorry.
option would be to reload the.
Well, did you name this
reload it.
template something different?
No, I just kept the same name that I had before.
Okay. So there's got to be a pair there that you have not loaded anything on, like even
what-
one of your
But what I
indices.
could do, here's what I could do though. I can go to Navigator and go to the indicators, and I can just take this indicator list, and I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete that. And then I'm going to reload the arrow. And that should get rid of that then. About common allow DLL imports input. That's all true money zone. And that, I got the 8 there too now. That's interesting. That was off the new template. That's off the original template there.
How weird. So do you have a pair that does not have that -8 on it somewhere?
That's a,
and
well, I
turn
guess that would be
into a template?
that would be the next question to ask, I guess. Let me see.
Well, James
Here's,
was
There it
here's
is.
one. Okay,
There
here's
it
one.
is. So just, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to remove all my unnecessary objects on this one. Since I have that, I put that rectangle in there. Should be all the way down here at the bottom, I'm thinking.
There it is.
This one right here. I'm going to delete that one.
James had the same
Delete-
idea.
I'm going to delete my arrow. Objects.
There's their horizontal
Trend
line.
line. I'm going to delete the trend line.
Do you need that
And
horizontal line on there that has that
this
one?
one here?
Yeah.
Probably not.
one is
Actually,
that?
if I have a couple of them that I don't need here. Don't need that
There
one.
you go.
Don't need that one. Don't need that one. I keep my target, keep my stop, keep my,
Your
make
other stuff.
these. I'll make sure I got these on the right date, 22nd. 22nd at 1500. Actually, that might be a different one that I want. Let me see here. Vertical lines.
I think we just got some. Did we get more alerts there, CB? Oh, that was
I did
old.
not. I mean, it's 120, so
22,
unless
got
maybe there was a 5-minute.
It
I know.
actually was a silver. It's a silver. Yeah.
There's that one. Then we're going 22 at 1700. There's that one. I take the arrow off of here. And then we're going to clean this template up, and then we're going to save the templates, what we're doing here. We got some
There it
arrows.
is.
I'll get rid of all these arrows. Arrows.
Okay.
And
Oh, there too. Look, the label. See the label where it's got the pips? You can
yeah.
change it there as well.
Oh, okay. That's a thought.
There you go. Older but wiser.
Okay, so we're going to save this template. Save template. I'm going to save this as my template with the 200 moving average, which is what I've got right here. And I'm going to change the date on this to 22nd. It's the 22nd of the month. to save this. And now if we go to other charts, we should, especially now that we don't have any other alerts on. See, that's showing 0. I'm just going to save this reload the template, load it, put my new template in, which is right here. By this one, I'm going to delete this one. If I can delete this. Delete that one. There we go. And we're going to, here's the one with my moving average. So this is the one I'm going to open. And everything should be where I want it to be. And it is. Okay. So as we go along today, I'll just keep on updating these templates. So while we're here, let's take a look at this one. We have, it's in a zone, bouncing back and forth, no trade there, even with the down arrow came right into the zone. We got a little bit of an exercise in chart management, I guess. Any other questions while we're waiting for these alerts?
I'm just waiting for the
It's a
chat.
slow news, slow day today.
You see the crypto dump last night?
Oh, did it? I hadn't looked.
Yeah, Bitcoin is actually at a support level right now. It's all the way down to like 52.88 from
Okay.
from 57.
Well, that could be a buying opportunity. I'm not ready to sell my cryptos yet.
No, yeah, exactly. No, it's been it's hit a support level 3 times here right now. It might,
Well, hit 57 over the weekend.
right.
I mean, I've been expecting a pullback.
There it is.
Here's the chart.
There's your pullback.
Yep.
All
That's like-
Litecoin, Ethereum, Dash,
They all did.
all of them pulled back.
Well, they were due for a pullback.
Yep. Good time to buy, maybe.
And so I kind of view this as buying opportunity. Let's take a look at a higher time frame chart on this. It's coming right back into this. This is the area. This is the area where it left. Let me take some of these blue lines off here if I can make things a little bit clearer on this. Symbols. No, looking for the scale. Let's see. Indicators last appearance. Maybe this. There you go. Session breaks. So we don't need those right now on the daily. So here's what we're looking at with the cryptos. For those of you who are into this crypto thing. Here's where the last round of support was, broke through a coming. So right now it's coming, let me just take all this off. It's coming into retesting all this area right in here. Where's my box? This is the wedge that it broke. This is the area that I'd be looking at to retest. Here's the first area. This was the area, you look for these really strong moves up, pulls back. This is the area that if it breaks through this area, I would say it's probably going to be looking at this area down in here. I'm looking for the strong move up. Here's the peak of it, came back down, retested it, went sideways for a while, and then now it's just basically, here's another strong move up, retest. I say this would be a buying opportunity here. If it goes further, buy some more. I don't think this thing's going down anytime soon. You buy the pullbacks and just go for another run with it. The next target, it's not new highs, so we're looking at institutional levels for a target. I'll be looking at certainly daily or weekly. There we go. Weekly looks good. Here's the blue line. Came back up, tested it, broke down, retesting the red line. I could see it coming down to this green blue area right in here. And here's where it was. Came up, rejected, came up, bounced, bounced, rejected, 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 broke, came back, retest, came back up, and now it's going to come back and retest this area. That would be a buyer down in here.
So what's your target number there? 50 to right around 50,000?
I'd say 50, 74 to 40. Looks like 46.87. So these two, yeah, 50. Basically, the green line is at 50, 47.63.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just above the 50. No, $50 is a 50,000 is a major hold number, and then 46.867 is the blue line, and then you can have. And there's probably 3 lines in between here. We'd be looking at weekly. Go put the dailies on. Actually, what I'm going to do. Yeah, I've got those there. I'm going to put the dailies on now. If I go to the daily chart, you should find 3 lines in between. Actually, only got 1 line in between here. Let's go to another one. 4 hours. See that? That looks. Here we go. There's my. So here's my blue line. This is a 4 hour, 4 hour. These are the thirds in between that. So this, again, this is a strong move up. Here's another origin. It may not get down here, but I think it's going to probably at least challenge this area right in here. I would not be afraid to buy anywhere from here on down to here. I wouldn't be afraid to buy it. And so I like this zone right here. This is the 4 hour zone. This is where it came back, broke, never came back, and never looked back again with this one. I have a little bit of a trend line from here. Here's a little wedge. Oop. And it comes back down. It's going to retest it right here, right in this zone. I would definitely expect to bounce off of here if it gets down that low.
That's the 4 hour. Got it.
Yeah, that's a 4 hour right there.
Yep.
Anybody wants to take a snapshot of that, you're welcome to. As I'm on a 4 hour chart right now. This is with Bitcoin.
Yeah, Gilad had mentioned that on the 1 hour, it's bouncing on the 200 EMA.
Yeah, it's right on it.
Oh, and let's see if I can pull that chart up here. Let me tab here. And let's see. Let me check this one out here. Maybe not here.
There it is.
Yep, there's the 200. You're absolutely right. Bouncing right off of it. Strong move up over here. Again, we're on a 1 hour now. Strong move up. Came back down. Retested it. Is reject. So the price is rejected right here off this little wick right here, and it did break that. It did break that. If you're looking at again, this is the lower the time frame, the more you're going to start seeing some of this stuff. But it broke, retesting, and I would not be surprised to see this thing still go down a little bit more. We got a lot of heat coming down. It's not ready to. It's not quite ready to give it up yet. It only makes sense that there would be some profit taking up here before it gets, but the thing that it's going to hit the 60,000 mark. All this is people taking their profits in preparation for it to come back up to the 60,000. And I would be surprised if it didn't hit 60,000 this week sometime or before the end of the month anyway.
Euro Swiss just came up with a counter trend arrow. I don't love it, but
Euro Swiss.
Peek at it.
Thanks for pulling us off of that and into here, back to where business as usual. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Let's check the trend on this one. Let's get our template up. Load the template. 200 moving average. See where that is. Oh, it's all the way down here. We're in the contra trend trade, so either way, we could probably trade it either direction. I think this is maybe tradable. Down to the, that's 22 pips there. We got a little bit more to the green zone. Downtrend, bounce, arrow. It is contra trend, I believe.
Yep. But we're in the window.
But we are in the contra trend window. And we have the, all right, so let's put our, I think I might take this one. Let me take a look and see. We've got my object list. And this was Euro Swiss. So it was a sell at 108, 1.088.
The only thing that I'm looking at, Al, is if you go down to the 5-minute,
Uh-huh.
it's not a very strong one, but it's right, the price is right above a small little support zone right now in the 5-minute. Could bounce off of it.
Let's see where our strength meter is on this one here. Let me take a look at that. Euro Swiss. The euro is here. The Swiss is stronger. Swiss is stronger by 3. Swiss is stronger by 4. Swiss is stronger. Swiss is stronger.
That's good.
That's good. So yeah, I'll take this one.
Look at the 5-minute real quick.
5-minute before I do that. Okay. There we go. We do have a little 5-minute zone right here. It did bounce off a 5-minute 200 moving average in a zone. Have a little bit of a pullback. This is still on a downtrend. Still contra trend. What's our time right now? It's 8:30. We have about another 30 minutes. This could be that 9 o'clock move to the upside here. Yeah, I see. I prefer to see it break through this little zone right now.
Yeah, that's what scared me off from it.
And then the next 5-minute zone is going to be down here. One thing about it, if you're looking at a direction, if it's going in the wrong direction on a lower time frame, it's not going to get to your direction on a higher time frame till the lower time frame changes direction. Let me say that again. If you want to go short and the lower time frame says it's going long, you have to wait for that lower time frame long to turn around and want to go short to get you with the right momentum. Because as long as this thing's going against you, the higher time frame is not going to go for you.
Right.
And that's why a lot of times it's really good to try and get those micro entries off of the lower time frames. But then once you get into the trade, then you stick with a higher time frame so it doesn't do a head play on your head. And we'll just kind of watch this one. Because remember, the signal came off of a 15-minute chart. We're now looking at a 5-minute. So actually right now, all it's doing is giving us that better entry. Here's where the alert came in. This is the first pullback of the entry. As long as this thing keeps on working its way up towards this 5-minute arrow moving average. Here we had here they had the 5-minute arrow. Now we got a second arrow of the 15 minutes. This is actually the second arrow. Now usually we look at a 15-minute arrow, then you go down to a lower time frame and find that second arrow with the 5-minute. But in this case, we're just looking at, but we are in the contra trend zone, but we are in a higher time frame uptrend. Let's go back to our 15-minute chart. And see, this is Euro Swiss. Yeah, I think it's prudent to wait a little bit on this one. You may just be able to get a better entry. I also know you are going contra trend. Euro Swiss. Let me see here. I don't want to be reading too much into these techniques, but on the same token, we want to try and wear odds as best we can and get as good of an entry as we can get. One thing about the alerts brings you to the chart, and then it's up to you to make a decision whether or not it's worth a chart worth taking the trade on.
Yeah. I know, watching Nate trade, with something like this, he never really, he actually goes out of his way to say that he never looks at the shorter time frame for a trade like this. He doesn't make his decisions on, looking at the M5 for an M15 trade.
Yeah, and I generally never did either. I mean, I think the big thing is you have to be looking at, are you going to be taking more of the heat of that 40 pip stop that you're looking at? I mean, the thing is oftentimes the trade still is going to work out whether you look at a 15 minute or 5. I mean, we could have taken this trade, and if we look at on this trade alone, okay, we're on a 15-minute chart. Let's just put our 20 pip stop and target in here.
Yeah, where the 40 pip stop is way above that resistance.
Exactly. We're looking at 10. Is the
Probably
82? So it'll be 109.
Probably can do a 30 pip stop loss, really, is what I'd probably do, right? Right at the top of that resistance up there.
1.09. Oops, I've got 8 there. 1.09, 20, 22, I think. And target 1.08, 62. So that would be your target. And your stop should be way up here. So you have lots of room for it to come down. And thing is, if it is starting to turn, here's your target. The biggest thing is you're somewhat contra trend. Once we get past this 10 o'clock reversal time, which is right here, once we get past that, then we want to be back in the uptrend. Now the question is, would you have the expectation that this thing's going to come all the way down here within the next hour and a half?
Yeah. I'd almost have to double the range for the day for that to happen so far.
Yeah.
Not quite, but I'm going to stay out of it.
Yeah, right now I'm not. If I were to take this trade, I'd have to take it with a little bit more, a little bit less expectations of the 20 pips.
Yep. Yeah, maybe 10 and 20 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, because actually we had a nice little pop up. It broke there was a little wedge right here. Here's a high, here's a low. Here's the overnight from the money zone. This was London came in, drove it down. London drove it up, came down, tested it, drove it back up. Now we have a little bit of an upper trend line, and it's starting to form a little bit of a wedge here. If it can break through this part right in this area, I'm looking at didn't do that right. So we had a little bit of a wedge. Had a low, a higher low. Here's a low, here's a high. Here's a higher low, here's a lower high. Here's a wedge. And it did break through this. I like that part, that it broke through this area right here. But now the price is right up here. So right now it's from the time we got the alert, it would have gone, right now it's only 6 pips against you, which isn't bad. It's coming right up to this moving average. If I were to take it, I'd be looking at taking it pretty much right here at this moving average, waiting for it to come back down to retest this area, this moving average.
Now that current move be sort of a fake out right there, Al?
This one right here?
Yeah, breaking out of that wedge like it did.
Yeah, here's the break. It never really came. It never really came up and retested this area. This
Yeah.
could be a retest of the wedge.
Right.
If we have another, let's see here. Here's the overnight low. Here's the overnight high, and we got into the money zone. So this was Friday's money zone high right in here, which is right about where our target would be. If we were looking at moving our target, I would expect maybe if I were to be looking for a target, I'd be looking at this because of the high from Friday's high. I think that's Friday the 19th. I think that's right. So this would be since this got broken on the way up, and this isn't a real aggressive move. You see how low of an angle this area is, and then it popped up here it just drove it on up, came back down, drove it back up again. This thing could very well go to the downside, but I would be looking at this as a target, or maybe even this as a target. But it does have some room.
How many pips to that new target line are you?
Not very many, probably 7, I'm gonna guess. If I were to take it, say if I could get up into there, that's 20 pips. If we can get a nice pullback, that could give you your 20 pip target.
Yeah, the 5 minutes still going back up towards the arrow moving average right now.
Still coming back up in here. And you see this moving average, I mean, it is giving some downward pressure. We have the arrow. This is where the arrow was generated. This was the candle that was generated on. Now just coming up to retest. Here's a drop. Here's a little bit of a basing area. I would say the wedge is going to be the area that it could, this little area right in here between this moving average and the wedge. If it comes back up in that area and shows some weakness, that might be a place to take the straight short. I don't like taking a long right now. I don't think it's a good long trade right now. Here's our M. Here's the first hump of the M. Here's the middle of the M. Here's the second hump of the M. Came down, broke the wedge.
Beginning of the market maker, maybe?
Yep, market could be the beginning of a market maker move. Yep. The euro is still stronger to the dollar because that may only last for another 45 minutes. Dollar is still weak on pretty much all 4 time frames. We're actually looking at the Swiss though. We're looking at the Euro Swiss. Swiss is
Swiss has been pretty strong.
Swiss is still fairly strong. The Euro is still, it's kind of in the middle of the pack right now. Swiss is still getting stronger though. And we're on a 15-minute time frame.
Yeah, my app has the euro slightly. Actually, my app now has the Swiss and euro exactly the same strength on the.
Yeah, on the 30-minute, it's about where I've got mine, as is on the 15.
Yep.
It's not showing any real conviction of one over the other right now.
Right. That's why it's flat right now. If you look at
the. I mean, it's not moving very aggressively at all. I mean, it's like it took 15 minutes for it just to come back to retest this area right here.
Yep. I'm showing the euro starting to strengthen slightly too. So.
Yeah. Again, you want to weigh the odds. You want to be like that hunter looking for that proper target. The profit to. All you need is one good trade a day, and I say if you take a trade like this, it may or may not, it may work out. It may work out very well, but it may take you all day for it to get down here. And it may go up here. And then it's like the question is how much, I look at a trade and say, how much emotional inventory do I want to put into this trade?
Yeah, especially because it's a counter trend trade too.
Yeah, it's counter trend. It's not moving real aggressively. It's we had a nice, and this wasn't what I call an overly aggressive move to the downside. And it broke the wedge and just sort of been sitting here. I mean, it's been trading within, from the time I broke the wedge, which was say basically here was the wedge right here, to the downside, we're looking at 12 pips.
Yep.
But now it did come up, retest. I mean, I say this would be an aggressive trade. I think it could very well work out. I'm not in a big hurry to take it, but I think it's a tradable trade right now. If you felt like you want to be a little bit more aggressive, I would be going for, I'd probably be looking at this for the target. We had the strong move up, came back down. There's the lower retest. So I'd be looking at the lower of these candles right here. Once it broke out of this range, it came back up, tested, and it's just been a slow grind ever since. Actually, if I take this, if I can move this down to this area, here's the origin. Let's see, where are we at here? That's the middle. Here's the, yep. So here's the origin. Here's the first hit. Here's the second hit. Here's the break. But just keep in mind, this is a contra trend trade.
Yes, but our friend Steven said that on the 5-minute that zone has disappeared.
On the
his-
5-minute,
of the EuroCAD.
We're on Euro Swiss though.
No, but I'm saying on the EuroCAD that we were looking at before.
the EuroCAD.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
The 5-minute.
let's take a look at that
just, yeah.
EuroCAD. Let's take a look. That was on the 5-minute that he's talking
Yes.
about. That's, we were all the way down to 1 minute on this one. Let's see. Let me go back to the 15. We'll start from where we would normally be starting from.
Maybe when we reset the trend line.
Yeah, this is the one that we were looking at for the target being up here. That was EuroCAD at 53.26. Let's put this on here, template.
A lot more range on this pair, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The arrow moving average just went above the 200, which is.
Yeah, we're starting to get the crossover here. And the zone was right in here, wasn't it? I believe.
Yeah.
Now, do we have room to the upside to the here? Yep, you still have some room. You may take a little, I mean, if this would be chasing it a little bit.
Yeah.
Here's the entry. This was the entry, but we had the zone. So the zone was probably, I'm guessing the zone was sitting right about, I can't remember where it was at this point. EuroCAD, Euro. Canadian dollar is weak on all four. This I would say this could be, I think this is tradable. Remember, you got this little area right over here you have to be paying attention to. But here is Friday's high. So this thing could come up and retest the high. EuroCAD for a long.
Definitely chasing the trade a little bit though, right?
It's definitely chasing a little bit, but we had to wait for it to break out. And I think it was probably right in here is where we had that zone.
Yep.
So we have the breakout of the zone to the upside. The CAD is weak on all 4 time frames. The euro is stronger. Not overly strong, but stronger.
We've had the 2 arrows just a while back.
Yeah, this is the area that generated the first down move. This is coming to retest this area right in here. Now the question is, can they get through this area to come up and retest the zone? That's the $64,000 question.
You have a lot of those.
But we are starting to get a little bit of a trend change. Came back down. It came up. Actually, this was one that we were looking at. I think we were looking at this one earlier. Where it came up, it broke it, came back down, retested it, and now it's on the way back up again. So we're starting to get the crossover here. If we get a little bit of a pullback, we might have a nice little trade there.
Yeah, again, I think this is another one where you might not want to go for the full 20 pips if you did it right now.
I think this 15-minute candle is going to tell the story. If we get a wick on this, how much time do we have before this candle closes?
8 minutes.
Let's go look at EuroCAD.
Yeah, the Canadian dollar is really weak right now.
It's bouncing right off a 1 hour 200 moving average. Yeah, I'm gonna keep my powder dry on this one. Here's what I'm looking at with this EuroCAD. Here's our on a 1 hour chart. Here's our 200 moving average. Came back. Here's the pivot where it came back down, came back up, hit that right on the nose and bounced back off of it. But that was a strong move down. This is a retest. Let's see what this thing looks like here. Let's see where our zones are. I'll put this on a 15-minute zone. Here's our blue zone that we talk about. Came back right up, wicked above, and we have 5 more minutes before this 15-minute candle closes. We have all of our moving averages are moving in the right direction. And say 62, 62. So it does have pressure to the upside.
Prices coming back just a little bit.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at, a pass and check. Here's the blue fib line right here. This is a 15-minute blue fib line. Minute blue fib line right there. There's a 15-minute blue. There's a 15-minute red. And the 15-minute green is up here. Definitely have to respect this pivot up in this area. This would be supply. This would be certainly, I would expect a bounce off of this. But right now we're doing a pass and check. It came up, tested it, stopped, came back, pulled back, passed it, and now it's rechecking it again. Basically, we have to wait and see what's going to happen here with the, here's our spread right now. 50, actually, that's not right either. So I don't like this big wick right here. And we'll see how this thing closes out in 3 minutes. And then we're pretty much going to be done with this session.
Now, before our session ends, Ronald has a question that
Okay.
the heat map, which is the indicator, you know, that we look on TradingView, that you look on the order of where the, you know, the RCS, you know, is there another website that possibly has that information that would be available?
There are websites out there that give I think IC Markets, I think, is one that has it. I don't know the website in general. It's been a long time since I've used it.
There's a great app you can put on your iPhone or Android phone called Currency Heatwave. That's what I'm using.
Let me
Currency Heatwave is pretty great. Not quite as good as what Al has, but it's really
Currency Heatwave.
Really useful.
Currency Heatwave UK app. Heatwave app. Currency Heatwave app.
Currency Heatwave.
Let's see here. Let me go. There's a free version here. Let me see. Let me pull it up to see. I'm working trying to get a hold of the developer and see if how we can make this thing available to everybody. Didn't seem to like that.
Charles, in the chat, someone put it. Is that the same one?
Heatwave, Currency Heatwave FX. I'm going to try and make another attempt to get a hold of Anthony today and see if what we can work out with this thing. Is this it? This look like the website you're talking about there, Charles?
Let's see. No. Yes, I guess it is. Yeah, that is. Yes.
Okay. I don't want to install it on this computer, but I'll take a look. This looks like but it's good to have something that gives you some idea what the strength of the currencies are. One thing about the one that we have here is that I can put it on each individual and it'll just show you what it is for that particular pair right here. So it just has just the two pairs, the euro and the CAD. And you can see how close they are right here on whatever time frame you're looking at. So if I put on
what you have is way better. This is at least something.
I'm going to need to talk to Mariska because we were talking with Auvoria Prime months ago about getting this available for people that when we were doing the Iris room, and we were working with them, and it never got. They got the whole process got distracted because of other things of priority, and we need to revisit that again. So. I'm just going to see where we are with this. Especially, it seems like we're having some people that are using TradingView and could make use of this this app for us. So I'll see what we can. I'll continue working on that this week and see if we can make something happen. So we have something for you guys. And on that note, it looks like we're about at 9 o'clock. And I said, be careful with this trade. It's I think there's potential, but I don't. The fact there's a nice big wick right here that it closed out on. There's some sellers that came in. So this is going to be the area you're going to be looking at as being a problem area. Let me mark that off here. I don't want to discourage people from taking trades, but we also want to try and make the trades be good ones. This is the area that I'd be concerned about. Probably right about. And I like looking for dojis. And like here's this area, right? This little candle right here, this little red candle right here is a doji. If you can see, if I move this thing over. Back the other way. You can see that the buyers and sellers all came in right together right here. That's where there was an equilibrium where everything was, nobody was winning, nobody was losing. So a lot of times if I see a doji in a zone, I'll usually put one of my targets right there where that doji is, because that's a good indication that you might have, that'd be a good target. And see, that's right where it came on up and it was rejected right in that area. Okay, so just be careful with that. And on that note, again, thanks everybody for coming in. We really enjoy having you. We appreciate your questions and your participation. It really helps us out a lot. It's a lot more fun when we have some interaction with the with the attendees. Again, we value every one of you coming in the rooms, and hopefully you get some value out of our end here. So we'll be back tomorrow morning at 7:30 to 9, and then they have another session at 9 to 12 o'clock after our session here. So stay safe, stay green, be careful. Remember, today's Monday. The institutions are getting their positions set for the week. That's why Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays are generally better trading days. Don't be in a hurry to take a trade, but don't be afraid to take them either. So on that note, everybody have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, Al.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks,
Be
Charles.
well.
Thanks, Eva. Thanks, Christine.
Sure.